Imagine a world before forests, before flowers, before the dinosaurs. Imagine an Earth so alien it feels like another planet, where silent, mysterious giants dominated the land for 60 million years and then vanished. We are in the Late Silurian period, more than 420 million years in the past. The air itself is different here, thinner with less oxygen. The sun, a distant star, casts a weaker light upon the supercontinent of Gondwana. For billions of years, life flourished in the oceans. But here, on the land, it is a struggle for survival. Look closely at the rocks. This fragile green is the frontier of life on Earth. These are the first true land plants. No bigger than your finger, they have no leaves, no flowers, and no deep roots to anchor them. Every patch of green is a hard-won victory in a world of stone and silence. But in this world of miniatures, something else was stirring. Out of the barren rock, strange pillars began to rise. They were not plants. They were not animals. They belonged to a kingdom of life so bizarre, it has taken us almost 200 years to begin to understand them. We call them Prototaxites. When their fossils were first discovered, scientists were baffled. Were they colossal lichens, strange algae that had adapted to land, or even the primitive ancestors of modern pine trees? The truth we now believe is even stranger. The volatile climate, a challenge for the fragile plants, seemed to fuel their ascent. Unchallenged, with no other life to compete with for height, they began a silent, slow-motion race toward the sky. A new power was taking hold on the land. The age of pillars had begun. For millions of years, this became the landscape of Earth, an alien forest of silent pillars. This was the age of Prototaxites. In a world where all other plants grew no taller than your shin, these structures were the titans, the skyscrapers of the Silurian. But what were they? For decades, the leading theory was that they were colossal fungi, feeding on the sparse, decaying matter in the primitive soil. But recent discoveries have revealed a deeper mystery. Scientists examining their fossilized internal structure found they were made of millions of tiny interwoven tubes. But they lacked the key chemical signature of a fungus. They may not have been fungi at all, but something else entirely. A lost kingdom of life. An evolutionary experiment that has no living descendants today. Their intimate connection to the Earth shaped their very form. The landscape itself was their sculptor. In exposed, windswept plains, they grew stout and bulbous, anchoring themselves firmly to the volcanic rock. In the sheltered valleys, nestled between streams, they reached upwards in elegant, tapering cones, seeking the sun. They wear the history of their long lives upon their surface, a surface tough as cured leather. Look closely. Lichens, themselves a union of fungus and algae, form living maps across their flanks. They bear the cracks and scars of countless seasons, silent testaments to an incredible quiet resilience. For over a century, science labeled them as colossal fungi. But the latest evidence reveals a more profound truth. Their internal chemistry, their very building blocks, were unique, unlike any fungus known. They represent a lost branch on the tree of life, a bold evolutionary experiment that has no living parallel in our modern world. But time never stands still. The Earth is a relentless engine of change, and life is its most powerful fuel. The planet is no longer a world of just rock and pillar. The descendants of the first tiny plants, through millions of years of life and death, have performed a planetary miracle. They have created soil. With this rich new foundation, life has exploded. The land is becoming wetter, greener. The very air is changing as vast carpets of vegetation breathe in carbon dioxide and slowly release precious oxygen. In this changing world, Prototaxites endures. It is no longer a lonely monarch on a throne of stone, but a citizen in a growing, complex, and vibrant community. In their final epoch, before the dawn of true forests, Prototaxites made one last, magnificent stand. This was their ultimate form. At over 25 feet tall, they were the undisputed masters of the land. For 60 million years, 30 times longer than humanity has existed, these silent giants reigned over a world in constant transformation. They stand as a monument to life's boundless creativity, a lost kingdom that rose, flourished, and shaped the planet, only to leave behind a fossilized enigma that continues to challenge our understanding of life itself. They are a reminder that our planet's past is filled with lost worlds and forgotten wonders, life forms as strange and magnificent as anything we can imagine. Who had their time, and whose stories are written only in stone?